Welcome back, everyone. It's the Hip Joint Season 1 review and tier list. I'm currently working on my follow-up teaser trailer breakdown, where I'm going to dive a little deeper and speculate what we might see in the upcoming season. But before we begin the tier list, I need to make a few corrections, because in episode 1, I mentioned John DiMaggio voicing Leela's boss Ipchi, but he was actually voiced by Billy West.
Life is good.
Also, in episode 13, I said that Lauren Tom voiced both Trixie and Dixie, but she only voiced Trixie. Pamela Anderson guest starred as Dixie. Now I've put together a few lists through the first season, starting with voice credits. John DiMaggio has voiced 19 different characters, like Bender and Earl, or my favorite of the season, the professional beach bully.
No thanks, ma'am. I'm actually gay.
Billy West is at 16, voicing some of the show's most popular characters, like Fry, the Professor, Zoidberg, Zapp Brannigan, Nixon, just to name a few.
You just made my list.
Tress MacNeille at 14, doing an incredible job as the voice of Mom. David Herman 11, with characters like Larry and Wernstrom. Maurice LaMarche 10, my favorite being Calculon.
You see, I have a terrible secret, and that secret is...
Phil Lamar 5, voicing my main man Hermes.
Sign the paper.
And Lauren Tom 4, voicing mainly Amy and her mom for the season.
Oh, yeah. Amy! Hello!
We have 4 different versions of Bender saying,
Bite my shiny metal ass.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
Bite my red hot glowing ass. Bite my shiny metal ass.
The Professor also gets 4.
Good news, everyone. Good news, everyone. Good news, everyone. Good news, everyone.
Along with 2.
Great news, everyone. Great news, everyone.
So let's get this tier list started with Space Pilot 3000. But really, what is there to say? It's about as great a pilot episode as you can get. I mean, Bender's first words of the entire show are his most famous.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
That's hard to do with a character.
I'm unstoppable!
Some seeds are planted for future storylines, not to mention how important the cold open is, proven by how many times we come back to this exact moment. Just an all-around great episode, showing us this crazy world Fry finds himself in, and all the crazy people, like Nixon, making his only appearance of season 1.
Get those bums.
Fry delivers a few great lines.
My God, 1,000,000 years.
Bender shits a brick. And we are left wanting more. Space Pilot 3000 goes into S tier. The series has landed, does a great job following up the pilot episode. Hermes, Zoidberg, and Amy round out the rest of the Planet Express team, for now.
Scruffy's gonna die the way he lived.
We waste no time in getting Fry and the freshly christened crew on their first mission, Leela not quite convincing me she's as competent a captain as she claims. We learn a lot about Bender in this episode, like his inconsistent aversion to magnets.
It's magnetic.
And his dream of being a folk singer.
I guess a robot would have to be crazy to want to be a folk singer.
He also delivers one of the best lines of the episode.
I'm gonna go build my own theme park with blackjack and hookers.
As he gets kicked out of the lunar park and finds love with the moon farmer's daughter and recurring character, the Crushinator.
You-ho.
Fry and Leela have a sweet moment in the lunar lander, setting up a series-long will they won't they situation. 2 solid episodes in a row, and another one for the S tier. I Roommate is fine for an episode that the network wanted to feel more down to earth. A show about a space-traveling delivery crew from the year 3000. Yeah, let's have a more down-to-earth episode. That'll work out fine. Well, it didn't. It did do a decent job of showing us Bender the robot's more human side.
What's the point?
I mentioned in my breakdown video, I like the theory that the literal light bulb moment from episode 1 is responsible for Bender showing more human emotions, like jealousy and greed and radicalism and being a klepto and violent, and pretty much any other human attributes he exhibits throughout the show.
No.
Deal with it.
But it is kind of a dull episode, with a funny but ultimately lackluster twist at the end. I Roommate is a step down from the first 2 episodes, and I'm going to put it in B tier. Love's Labor Lost in Space introduces us to the best worst character of any show, the Zapp Brannigan.
Who's the Zapp Brannigan?
And this green idiot.
Oh, jeez.
I enjoy this episode's mission for the crew, a little different than their first mission to the moon, as they try to rescue some doomed animals, which end up being dinner for another pseudo-crew member, Nibbler. I like the scene at the hip joint, which is a sick name I might say,
Cool!
as Leela tries to find love, before her one-night stand with Zap. It's a fun episode from start to finish, and Zap has a great introduction.
I'm just so lonely.
I'm putting this one in A tier. Fear of a Bot Planet is an episode I tend to skip over when searching through Season 1. Watching it multiple times for the breakdown video has made me appreciate it more. It's another Bender-centered episode as he seeks refuge on a planet of murderous robots.
Death to humans!
SpongeBob's Tom Kenny guest voices a few side characters,
I find the defendants guilty.
and we get this little meta joke from Leela.
I don't know. It's not an easy decision. If only I had 2 or 3 minutes to think about it.
Fry's reaction in the movie theater is my favorite moment from the episode.
Perhaps even our movie theaters.
God help us!
And the guards at the front gate are pretty funny.
The flower would also have been acceptable.
We also learn about Blurns Ball, a ridiculous baseball parody that comes back later in a better episode. I think I'll put Fear of a Bot Planet in B tier. A Fistful of Dollars is similar to I, Roommate, as it's an Earth-centered episode, but it's a well-written episode. With a great introduction to the show's ultimate villain, Mom,
Thank you, Walt.
and her 3 sons.
No wonder you love Mother's Day.
The episode is centered around Fry's 1,000-year-old bank account, accruing enough interest to make him a billionaire. I love the auction house scene, as Fry buys every item, along with this episode's second plot device, a can of anchovies, that Mom desperately wants. And finding out that when Mom is behind closed doors, she isn't the sweet old lady she portrays herself to be, is a great reveal.
Holy crap, that bastard's itchy.
And then the way her sons trick Fry into revealing his secret PIN number is the best part of the episode.
Hey, you don't get to laugh.
Once again, Fry drops another hilarious line,
You can't just sit here in the dark listening to classical music.
I could if you hadn't turned on the lights and shut off the stereo.
and I'll think I'll drop this episode in A tier. My 3 Sons doesn't rank very high for me. Honestly, it's just kind of a boring episode. Fry has some funny moments, and the scene in the alley with the organ seller is probably my favorite.
Thank you!
Bender has a great line on his video call with Leela,
What is it you like best about me?
and this is his first, but certainly not last time trying to live out his dream of being a chef, like his favorite TV chef Elzar.
Bam!
Even with all that going for it, this episode just doesn't hold up as much as others in the season. It's not a bad episode, but I am going to put it in C tier. A Big Piece of Garbage introduces us to the professor's arch nemesis, Ogden Wernstrom. Not quite as old, just as senile, and a much bigger asshole.
What plan? I'm set for life.
This episode is an environmentally aware episode, highlighting the enormous amounts of trash people are using, especially in cities like New York, which is a fine premise to give us an opportunity to land on a meteor made of all the trash from the 90s.
Shorts.
Fry doing his fair share.
1 month my toilet broke, and I just went straight in the garbage can.
I love the rivalry between Wernstrom and the professor, and this is where it all began, so I'm putting A Big Piece of Garbage in A tier. Hell is Other Robots is a great episode, and Futurama has quite a few musical numbers, and this one from the Robot Devil is the first, and one of the best.
Enduring tortures, most of which rhyme, trapped forever here in robot hell.
Simpsons' own Dan Castellaneta makes a guest appearance as the Robot Devil, along with the Beastie Boys also voicing themselves in the episode's opening.
You know, we're really not that interested in meeting them.
Fry delivering another one of my favorite lines.
Will you guys shut up? I'm trying to look cool.
Bender gets hooked on electricity, and we get a little glimpse into his addictive behavior, and see just how far he can go, one way or the other, as he then finds religion and meets the preacher bot. I can watch this episode over and over, and I'm putting it in S tier. A Flight to Remember, Zap's second appearance in Season 1. Now this is a rare direct parody episode, as it tells the story of the space Titanic. with Bender and the Countess de la Roca having a romance like Jack and Rose from the movie. It is also a parody of Three's Company, or at least in Fry's mind it is, as he tries to juggle a fake relationship with Leela and Amy, as Amy's parents make their first appearance of the show.
Since you're here, we'll have to do some meddling.
I love this backstory for Hermes from when he was an Olympic limboer.
Your backbone can't take it!
I'm just like Hermes! I'm just like...
And we also meet his wife LaBarbara, Don Lewis's only recurring character of the show.
Just go on through and hit the release, you hot dog. Yes, dear.
A Flight to Remember is fine, but goes in B tier for me. It's an okay episode with a few good moments sprinkled in. Mars University, where Fry's intelligence, or lack thereof, is put on display as he attempts to become a college dropout. It's a good follow-up to a big piece of garbage, as the same university where the professor flunked Wernstrom is where we see him teach.
Please, Fry, I don't know how to teach. I'm a professor.
Gunter is introduced and has a fun rivalry with Fry, along with his existential crisis. The scene at the waterfall and the whole Animal House parody with Bender and his robot fraternity make this episode a lot of fun to watch.
Here's your finger back.
Dean Vernon is funny every time he's on the screen.
Robot House!
So Mars University will go in A tier. When Aliens Attack does a good job introducing the Omicronians. Lur isn't my favorite character, and the episodes focused on the Omicronians don't usually rank as high for me. Zap makes another appearance, but this Space Force training and battle sequence feel out of place in the episode. I think they should have spent more time with Fry's TV show, and I love his line about writing.
Well, it took an hour to write. I thought it would take an hour to read.
That and the beach scene hold this episode up, but I'm going to put it in C tier. Fry and the Slurm Factory ended up being a surprise favorite of the season. I laughed every time I watched Fry fall into the river of Slurm and scream for help because he can't swim.
And drink as much as I want. Help! I can't swim!
And it's probably my favorite moment of the whole season. The Willy Wonka parody, the Grunkalunkas and their little song,
Grunkalunka dunkety darn guards.
Shut the hell up!
I can't get enough. This is definitely my favorite of the season, and I'm putting Fry and the Slurm Factory at the front of S tier. Well, that does it for Season 1, and I just have to say how much I've enjoyed making these videos and all the positive responses I've received. I'm looking forward to starting Season 2 and finishing out the whole show. I think I'll focus on the new episodes first before starting Season 2. Until then, I have a few more videos I'm going to put out. So like and subscribe, and see y'all in the next one.